Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. This is Comfortably Zoned Radio, and it's time for Dodgers baseball, a tale of two cities, from Brooklyn to Los Angeles. I'm your host, Peter Trunk. My co-host is Ralph Tyko. Ralph, how are you?
Oh, I am just as good as I get, which is the good news and the bad news all wrapped into one. And doing it all. Being with my bud and talking a little ball tonight, Dodger ball, which is okay by me because we get to talk giant ball mixed in with it at the same time.
Sure. Yeah.
Nice to talk to you, Peter. I really appreciate you having me here.
Okay. I just want to start the show off with a little tidbit that I learned that blew me away. Now, I always go back to saying this. I saw this on the internet, so it must be true. Ha, ha, ha. But this is what I saw today, and I said, I got to tell Ralph this on the air. Okay. You, of course, remember the Gary Cooper movie about Lou Gehrig called Pride of the Yankees.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Now, here's what I learned today. I learned today that the scenes that they filmed with Gary Cooper, they filmed them backwards. They sewed a backwards 4 on his back for Lou Gehrig. We have a guest, and
we have a guest,
right? And they put the NY. They put the NY on the opposite breast of the Yankee jersey. Okay.
Right.
And they filmed him backwards because he couldn't swing lefty. And the guy, listen, here's the real kicker, because I had read that years ago, and I wasn't too sure if that was true or not. Here's the real kicker. The scenes they did from a little bit further away of Babe Ruth, that was Dave Herman, the Brooklyn Dodger outfielder.
Wow.
Dave Herman took the swings of Babe Ruth in that movie, Pride of the Yankees. And I just learned that today. And like I said, take it with a pinch of salt because I saw it on the internet, so it must be true. Ha, 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 ha. I think I heard a little noise that we might have had one of our guests. Why don't you take it from here, Ralph, and see who it is and introduce
Who is it? Is it Ron or Ronald?
It's Ron Rabinovitz. How are you, Ralph?
Ron, nice to talk to you. Thank you for gracing us coming back. Peter and I, if you will remember, you were nice enough to grant us an interview before when we first started the Dodgers show. And
sure.
And you and I did a tribute to Jackie that I use on the Comfortably Zoned website when I retired, number 42 on the website. So
great.
It was a great interview, and I don't know if I ever told you that was the interview that I thought to myself, I'm never going to be able to top that.
I'll bet you have, though.
And no, I mean this seriously. I really had reservation. I couldn't do another interview for a while. I thought, have I said it all? Is there anything more important that I'm ever going to say? I still remains probably not. When we talk about baseball as we know it, human rights as we know it, humanity as we know it, that will probably be right up there with the most important interviews ever done about baseball.
Well, thank you, Ralph. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
Peter, how are you doing?
And
I'm doing very well, Ronald. Good to hear your voice again.
Thank you. Good to talk to both of you.
Yeah, it's an historic day because it's the anniversary. Peter and I were talking off the air of Jackie being traded from the Dodgers to my Giants in those days, a New York Giant fan. we were devastated. Peter and I both were for different reasons. We thought the trade was going to, we thought we'd see Jackie. Peter reminded me that a first baseman's mitt. He was going to play first base. They needed so badly a first baseman. Jackie could have hit 25 home runs. And it might have saved the Giant franchise. I'm dreaming about that perhaps because the move was predestined. Peter has told me stories where O'Malley was looking. What did you say? 1953, Peter?
When he first became the 50 percentile owner, O'Malley started making noise about how the Dodgers could no longer play in Ebbets Field, and he never did anything to help the situation, the venue itself. He threw some paint on it now and then, but he didn't do anything to fix it up, and he really forced the whole situation. Either he was going to, it was his way or the highway, and of course it turned out to be the highway, but Walter O'Malley was not going to play in Ebbets Field. He had made up his mind years and years before that, and then when he saw little openings here and there, of course he jumped into those, and he had the Dodgers play in Jersey City in 57, and he sold the damn stadium. He sold it, and then he leased it back. So he really forced the whole thing, and whatever it was, we all know how it turned out. But I want to close my mouth and open my two ears and listen to Ron, because I know Ron's going to have a lot of great things to say about the Jackie Robinson trade to the Giants. And I just read today for the first time, I had read that Stoneham offered Jackie $50,000 to play, and today I read that he upped that after Jackie said no thank you. He upped it to $100,000, and Jackie still turned it down. And now I'm going to go. I'm just going to shut up now. I want Ron to tell us what's going on here. Okay, go ahead.
Well,
Ron.
guys, it was, he was coming to the end of his career, and there was no love lost between Walter O'Malley and Jackie Robinson. Jackie was always upset when Branch Rickey left because he loved Branch Rickey. And, of course, they needed Jackie, and he did very, very well for the Dodgers. But at the end of his career, he was slowing down, and we had dinner with him one night. I can tell you he was playing left field this particular day, and a line drive went past him and rolled all the way to the fence. He missed it. We had dinner that night, and I said, Jackie, that was a heck of a play, a tough play. I said, no, he says, Ronnie, he says, Amaros would have had it. Sandy Amaros was a rookie at that time. He was fast. He was young. He says, I want to tell you a secret that no one else knows except my own family. He says, I think next year will be my last year in baseball. And, in fact, he said, my legs are gone. He said if I had to do it all over again, he probably wouldn't have played in all the sports that he did. Because, as you know, he was a tremendous athlete. He was an All-American in football, All-American in basketball. At UCLA, he broke the world's record in the broad jump and track, and he played baseball. He lettered in 4 sports. He was the only athlete ever to letter in 4 sports at UCLA. So he was at the twilight of his career. And so he told us that probably next year will be the last year. So he was already thinking about that. And, as most ball players, they think, well, maybe I can go one more year, or maybe one more, because they love the game and whatever. But he was already organizing himself with Chock full of nuts. He was getting involved there. He had gotten a terrific offer from the owner of Chock full of nuts. He said he's got a standing offer whenever he wants to. He's not going to put pressure on him, but whenever he wants to, he can come work for him. So he knew he had that in his back pocket. So, and then he hadn't made up his mind yet, but he was kind of leaning towards retiring. And then the Dodgers pulled the wool out of his under his eyes, and they traded him to the Giants. And he was devastated. I mean, and I was devastated. I felt terrible, you know. And I called him and I told him.
Well, we all did. You were a little kid then, like Peter and I was. Am I right?
Yeah.
How old were you?
Yeah. I was. This was 56, 57. I was 11, 12 years old.
We're the same age. We're all three the same age, and in effect,
all three the same age.
Yeah.
I'm 71. I'm 71 now.
I'm 70, going on 100.
So, you know, it was, and he thought about it, but he decided no, he was not going to play for the Giants. And he wrote a beautiful note. I saw the letter. As a matter of fact, it was at the Hall of Fame. I read it to Horace Stoneham. And he thanked him, and he wished the Giants good luck. But he decided that he's not going to play. But he was hurt. You know, he really was hurt that he couldn't go out the way he wanted to. That the Dodgers
had. He would have preferred. He would have played another year for the Dodgers.
Yes, he would have. Yes, he would have.
So,
wow.
He probably just didn't want to sell the Giants and the fans short in any way.
Right.
Either.
I mean, he loved the Dodgers, and that was their arch rivals for Christ's sakes, and he just couldn't face the fact of. I saw a picture today online on Facebook of Jackie wearing a Giants uniform, and it was like, oh my God.
Oh, I've never seen that.
It was a card that never was. It was the Topps card.
It was a card that never was. You're right.
Oh, I think then I did see it, but it was obviously photoshopped.
I posted it today.
Yeah.
But it's just. It made me nauseous in a way. It was like, that doesn't look like Jackie on the Giants uniform. And I know you're a Giants fan.
I understand. I didn't like it, and I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked the fact everybody had to love Jackie. If you were a human being, you had to love Jackie, whoever you rooted for. So for a while, I remember thinking, I've got the best of two worlds because now I could root for Jackie. So it was very difficult to root against him. Very difficult to root against all of those guys.
Yeah.
Looking back.
Well, they were great teams.
When you were doing it, it was easy. But looking back with the memories, I mean, Jim Gilliam, I idolized Jim Gilliam. This guy was a great utility infielder, and my grandfather told me the value. He'd say, utility. You got to have utility. I mean, early on.
He was right. I mean, he could play third, he could play second.
Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to slump. This, that, and the other thing. You got to have a guy who can step in, and he was as valuable as anybody. The Yankees had Gil McDougall.
Yes,
but let me tell you something. I was talking to Peter Golenbach once about the value of utility, and mentioning that I thought McDougall was the best utility infielder. McDougall and or Gilliam were, those two guys.
They were both terrific.
He said, no, the best was Jackie. Because if you think about
he played first base, he played second base, he played third base, he played outfield.
Yeah, right. And when they signed him as a shortstop. And I think had they not had Pee Wee Reese, he probably would have gotten a crack at it. Right.
Sure, he would have. And the first year, he played as a first baseman. He was a first baseman the first year.
Right, absolutely. And then camp came, and Hodges to burst, and starts the rotation, and made them. They were deep and great. The guys at third.
My God, Billy Cox and Don Hoke, and Jackie played third occasionally, and a second base, of course, was his.
Right, and Amorose for a while made that catch in the World Series.
Yeah, wasn't that something? It was quite a team. The Giants had a great team, too, huh?
Hello?
Yes.
I'm
Peter?
Can you hear me?
I hear you, but Peter's not coming in well.
No, he's not.
No, that's not me. That's Ron Liebman.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. Hello, Ron Liebman. He's the trivia expert. He's been on the station before. He's a little late, but maybe we're a little early, Ron. Could that be it? Ron?
The time when I was in the library, but I'm here now.
Oh, okay. For the library. Could you get off the speakerphone?
Can you hear me?
No.
Oh.
Is that better? Are you on the speakerphone, Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Would you get on the regular phone?
Well, I can press. I can try to eliminate the red thing on the speaker. Hello, you hear me better now?
That's much better,
Yeah.
Ron.
Hello?
That sounds better, yeah.
All right, Ron. I'd like to meet Ron Liebman, Ronald Rabinowitz, and Peter
Hi, Ron.
Trump.
Very good. Are you a member of SABRE, Ronald Rabinowitz?
I am.
Very good.
Okay. Ron, I don't want you to break our continuity on this.
Yeah.
So let us talk for just a few moments, and then we're going to ask you to, as planned, to come up with a few Dodger trivia. That Ron is an expert on trivia, and we're all pretty much mavens, I have to say, the three of us here. Peter, would you agree?
I would agree, and let me say this.
Okay, I'm patting ourselves on the back. I have to think about it. Who else would do this? No false humility. Let me tell you something. Ego trumps modesty. So,
right.
Well said.
Yeah,
Thank you. Before we go any further, let me just say this, if I may. It's very difficult for two people to do a show like this because they talk over each other. It's extremely difficult for three people because they talk over each other. And it's almost impossible for four people to do it. But we're going to try from here on in. And before anyone says another word, I would like Mr. Rabinowitz, Ronald, please finish your thought or thoughts, plural, on the Jackie Robinson trade on this day 60 years ago in December of 56. You were there. You know it all. I want you to please continue speaking.
Okay. Thank you. As I told you, he was very disappointed. He was very sad. He wanted to go out as a Dodger, and it really kind of was a bad taste in his mouth. As a matter of fact, he and the Dodgers kind of had a falling out for many years, and after that, and they did heal their fences. He was invited for I think it was in 1972, if I'm not mistaken, to go to Dodger Stadium to have his number retired. He and Campanella and Sandy Koufax were the first three Dodger numbers that were retired. And before that, he was not having much. I think he came around because of Peter O'Malley, but he was really he didn't like Walter O'Malley at all. But they did mend their fences, but he was very disappointed. And when I called him, I told him how sad I felt. And then when I heard he retired, I cried. I thought, my God, I lived in Sheboygan, Wisconsin at the time. I now live in Minneapolis. But I thought, my God, I'll never see him again. What would he want to come back to Wisconsin for? And I wrote him a letter about that. He told me that his own son, Jackie Jr., was crying. And he assured both of us that everything would be okay. And in fact, it was, because he came back to Wisconsin many times for banquets, he was very active with an organization called the National Conference of Christians and Jews, and sports banquets and other, and he would let us know, and we would spend the evening or the weekend or the afternoon with him, whatever it was. And it was tremendous because I did see him many times, certainly not as many times as I did when he was playing, because
he'd come in with the Braves. He'd come in with the Braves.
With the Dodgers, yeah.
With the Dodgers to play the Braves.
Milwaukee. Right, exactly. And they'd come in 3-4 times a year, for 3 or 4 games each time. And so I saw him a lot. And so it was different, but we stayed in touch a lot. And we wrote a lot of letters together. We had many dinners together. And then as time went on, we started calling each other more often. And he had given me his unlisted phone number in Stamford, Connecticut. And I used to call him occasionally, and he was just a tremendous man. He meant so much to me, and I think that he would not be happy with things today, the way things are going. Oh, my God. My father,
none of our ancestors would.
My father,
it's scary as all
Jackie. Oh, my God. They would have been just rolling in their graves. They couldn't believe what's going on. After all the work he did, it's sad. It's serious and dangerous, and it's very disturbing to see what's going on.
I have a feeling that, well, I'm just thinking that the CIA may take things into their own hands.
I hope to God you're right. I hope to God you're right.
But they better get Pence and Hillary, too. That's the only thing I ask.
Yeah. That's right.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Did you have any sort of relationship after Jackie's death? Did you carry on any sort of relationship either by phone or by letter with Rachel Robinson?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Rachel,
can you tell us about that?
Very dear friend. Sure. I met Rachel for the first time in 1997. It was the 50th anniversary of Jackie breaking the color line in baseball. And as you know, she had started a foundation called the Jackie Robinson Foundation the year after he passed away, which is a scholarship program for children of color and minorities to go to college. They have the greatest graduation rate of any scholarship program in the United States, 97%, which is way, way double the national average. And Jackie would have been so proud because education was so important to him. So Rachel came to Minneapolis and was being honored by the twins, and they were presenting a check for $50,000 in Jackie's memory to the foundation. So I was at the press conference. I was sitting in the audience with a bunch of reporters, and I was in the second row, and there was nobody in the front row, and she's at the head table, and I'm looking at her kind of grinning. I've never met her before. And grinning from ear to ear, and she's looking at me like, what's that reporter grinning about? And afterwards, I ran up to her, and I said, Rachel, I'm Ronnie Rabinovitz. And just like that, she said, oh, my God. She hugged and kissed me. She said, Jack loved you so much. And I brought all the letters and pictures and everything. And that night, she threw out the first ball, and then she came up to one of the box seats and boxes, and we sat and spent about 3-4 innings together. And it was just such a pleasure to visit with her and talk to her about her family and my family. And she's just a magnificent woman. God bless her. She's 94 years old, and she's still going strong. I got a beautiful letter from her about, I would say about 6 months ago, thanking me for all I've done and how I've reached out and talked to kids and everything. And Sharon I know very, very well. She's been here many, many times.
Right.
What a fulfilling life you lead, passing on this wonderful man's legacy.
Yeah. Well, he gave me so much, and I felt like it was an opportunity it was almost like a baton pass, where I took a baton and carried it in his honor. And I've been all over the country. Been to the Hall of Fame twice to speak. I was last month. I was in at George Washington University speaking there. which I've done several times. It's just a great honor, and he was such a magnificent man. That's the thing. And what I try to point out...
Did you get to know Henry Aaron, and did Jackie and
Henry Aaron
have a relationship?
They were very close, yes. They were very close because at first, I didn't like Henry Aaron because he was beating my Dodgers all the time. He was so good, But he was a tremendous, tremendous athlete. And what he went through, too, And the amazing thing with Jackie, and I point this out to so many people, is that he was alone. There was nobody else. He was alone. It was way before the Civil Rights Movement. It was way before Martin Luther King. It was way before Rosa Parks. I was in Los Angeles about a year ago. I was invited to come and do an interview with Larry King. And Larry was telling me the first time that he interviewed Martin Luther King, he introduced him as the founder of the Civil Rights Movement. And Martin Luther King stopped him and said, Larry, I have to correct you. I was not the founder. Jackie Robinson was. Right. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, pretty amazing. I have that interview online. I have a website. It's RonRabinovitz.com. Rabinovitz with a V, not a W. Okay. And you can see that and many other interviews. But it's been such a rewarding journey for me and so satisfying to teach kids and adults and people about Jackie. And I spent a lot of time talking about what he did after baseball because a lot of people don't remember that or don't know about that. They remember that he was the first African-American. He was a tremendous athlete, on and on and on. But what he did after baseball was so phenomenal. What he did for people and for his race. He started the Freedom National Bank in Harlem because there were other banks that were not allowing. Interest rates were going. They were bringing him up for African Americans. So he wanted them to have a fair treatment. He
wasn't just banking; it was insurance rates were higher.
Insurance rates, right. So many things.
Loans, if you want to buy a car loan, well, that is banking, but
sure.
Health insurance was higher. Food,
sure
the markets would rip off the people.
Absolutely terrible. Yeah.
Jewelry
stores. He started a construction company to build homes for African Americans.
And they'd have ads, cigarette ads, posters for cool menthol cigarettes. And they'd get black hooked on menthol, which is
menthol.
You'd have to suck more in to get the trip.
Yeah.
It was much worse for you than conventional tobacco.
Regular. Exactly.
Americana, they got tired of fucking over the Native Americans. Yeah. So they went for the blacks.
That's right. That's right.
It took a long time. Yeah. It took a while, but they managed. A country founded by slave owners and founded on imperialism. Yeah. And we're big surprise we got what we have. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. And now it's
Rob, another question for you, please, if you would. Do you have any type of relationship today with the Los Angeles Dodgers?
Yes, I do.
Can you elaborate?
I'm good friends with Mark Langell, who's their historian, and does a lot of their work on history of the Dodgers. I've been to Dodger Stadium several times. I've been honored there. They've taken me on the field during batting practice and things like that. I even had tickets for a game from Magic Johnson. Very fun. Yeah, it was very exciting. I saw Don Newcomb there. I saw some of the old Dodgers, Sweet Lou Johnson. Talking about the Dodgers, by the way, today is a very big day in Dodgerland. Today is Carl Erskine's 90th birthday.
We did an interview. Peter, you did a great interview with Erskine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
that I republished.
I called him today and wished him a happy birthday. Yeah. It was terrific. Yeah.
He is as articulate as he was when he was 30.
Absolutely. He really is.
Gives us all people like Carl Erskine, Dr. Bobby Brown, who we've had on,
right.
Obie Landreth I've had, folks that are up there that baseball folks, for one reason or another, keep their mental acuity going strong, and that
isn't that great? That's God bless them.
Gives we mortals a shot at going into our senior years with our Seichel.
Yeah.
Peter doesn't know what that is, Seichel. Ron Liebman knows what that is, and you've been so patient, Ron.
It sounded like you told me to keep quiet, so I kept quiet.
No, right? I did, and now we're ready for you. And if you're ready for you, kind enough to get off the speakerphone and get on a regular phone.
No, it's the only phone I have. Let me see if I press the speaker in, if the sound goes off.
Let's see if you could do that, Ron. Press the speaker in.
It has to be this way.
All right.
It was wired for a computer, and they changed my phone to speakerphone, yet the computer hasn't been fully connected yet.
Huh. Go figure. Hey, listen, Ron, give us a couple of trivia questions so we can compete with each other. I've got that competitive edge going.
I wanted to mention with Jackie Robinson in 1972. It was pretty well known by his wife and other people that he didn't have long to live. So they arranged for his number to be retired. They arranged for him to make that public appearance at the World Series. When
Cincinnati. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Somebody gave him a ball to sign, and he said he won't be able to. He might be able to sign over somebody else's name because he's practically blind. So they said there's no other names on it. So anyway, that last year he was at the World Series. He died 10 days later. Also, wrote his autobiography that last year, and he managed to finish it. He wrote it with somebody named Duckett at author. He managed to finish it. Greenberg was not so lucky. Greenberg started his autobiography in his last year when Greenberg was dying, and Greenberg didn't finish it, so people had to fill in parts of it. Greenberg was a pilot too, you know.
Sure he was.
Not the first Jewish player, but the first Jewish star player, the first big star.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
Well, I was with Jackie.
You know, you taught me something tonight, Ron, the first Ron that was on, Ron Rabinovitz, is that Jackie was big in the Christian Jewish
National Conference of Christians and Jews, yes.
I didn't know that. And that makes me happy.
Yeah. He would come for...
Hit us with some good questions, Ronald.
Yeah.
You want some questions?
Yeah.
All right. Can you name the 7 people, 6 of the pitchers who are still living from the 1955 team?
Okay.
From the Dodgers 55?
I guess that answer would be no. Next question. That's it. I'm a star.
You would have gotten a lot of them answered if you brought in Al Blumpkin.
All right, let me think about it for a second. If I brought in Al Blumpkin, you wouldn't be here.
Whoa.
No. Because we couldn't have 5 people in the booth. 4 is killing.
Could be there.
All right, let's get to that answer for a second. Mr. Branca wasn't even in 55. He just passed away. So how about I'll start with Billy Lowe's.
Lowe's is living?
Lowe's is living?
5 years ago.
Oh, he died 5 years ago. Okay. I guess so did my brain, coincidentally. What can I say? Not many.
Ralph.
Shotgun Shuba? Is he still with us?
Oh, he's dead. Okay. Listen,
Peter, take over.
6 of the 7 were pitchers. Okay? So let's go from there. Let's go with Koufax and Erskine.
Let's go with Joe Pignatano.
The first one you mentioned?
Koufax.
You mentioned Koufax and Erskine. I thought you mentioned somebody before those two.
Erskine?
Oh, you said somebody else.
Koufax. I thought you mentioned the third name. Well,
the third one.
I did.
All right, can I say Joe Pignatano, the catcher? Did he play in 55?
Yes.
No, he came up 57. He's living with
Okay. Okay.
Rube Walker.
Rube Walker may still be alive.
Walker died in 1993.
Oh.
All right.
Remember,
This is a tough one.
Pitches. And the one who is not a pitcher is very, very obscure.
Roger Craig and Roebuck.
Roebuck is right, yes.
Craig is
Roger
right.
Craig is still, Roger Craig pitched in the
Craig
1955 World Series. He's still alive. Ken Espremani.
Not in 55. Bob Aspermonte played in 56, but not 55.
Oh, Bob Aspremani. Okay, 56.
All right. Wow.
That's a tough one.
Don Bessent.
You didn't mention
Don Bessent.
What?
Who?
Don Bessent.
Bessent died in 1990.
Okay. Why don't you, if no one else can come up with any answers, Don Kellert.
Frank Keller.
Keller died in 1984.
Why don't you give us the answer, Ron?
Yeah, please.
Okay, the answers are as follows. Don Newcomb. I'm surprised you didn't mention
Oh, sure.
He turned 90 this year also.
Sure.
Don Newcomb, Carl Erskine, Roger Craig, Sandy Koufax, Ed Roebuck, Tommy Lasorda, Bob Bukowski.
And who else? Who was the last guy?
Bob Bukowski.
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
They got him from Cincinnati. He played about 9 games and was released. But he was on the team part of that year, so he counts.
Huh. How did we start a Newcomb? Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's
How do we miss
only those guys.
Yeah.
Only those guys.
Unbelievable.
Okay, one more, Ron, at least.
By the way, I want to mention, those guys, I know them all along, I've been keeping track of them, but somebody on Facebook happened to put it down as a fact that there are 7 living from 55. So if you had seen it, you would have been able to get the answers easily. And he put it on as a list there. Yesterday, somebody named Bob Weir put it on.
I know Bob Weir, as a matter of fact. Wasn't he with the Grateful Dead?
Yeah. I want to
No, seriously, wasn't that Bob?
With the players, I deal mostly with the researchers, particularly from Sabre. I'm a research guy with the researchers and the writers, but not. I don't deal much with the players. I see them sometimes at the conventions, but I'm into dealing with people on my end of the thing.
I understand, but you also give good trivia, so give us another question, Ron. You're an expert.
Okay, I'll give you maybe a couple one-part questions mixed in here also. Between 1925 and 1958, the National League pitcher, he was a Brooklyn Dodger, who had the most strikeouts in a season in the National League.
In 1928?
and 1958. That's a long span of time.
It's a long span of time.
Yeah, well, I have to go then Sandy Koufax.
No.
All right, well, that was my guess.
You're talking a lifetime or a season?
Yeah, but some people have gotten it over the years.
Is this lifetime or season?
Season.
Ah, that's different.
Was it Daddy Vance?
No. Vance in 24 and Drysdale in 58, but there was the man in between was somebody who was a Brooklyn Dodger.
Huh.
Don Newcomb.
A song was written about him. No, not Newcomb. A song was written about this guy.
Really?
Van Lingo Mungo?
Van Lingo Mungo is the man.
All right. That's pretty cool.
Very good.
He had 238 in 1936. You think he would have gotten it without the clue?
Without the no? Hell no.
Right.
One more, Ron. Ronald?
Now, another guy, a relatively obscure player, he did something nobody else ever did, and he hasn't gotten too much credit for it. He got four hits in a game in 4 consecutive games. He had an unusual career. The following spring, he got hurt and he couldn't play anymore. But in later years, he coached for the Dodgers, and he was fired after a bad coaching move he made.
Art Stock.
What?
Stock.
Right.
Art Stock.
Did the coach help you? Or you would have gotten it anyway?
I would have gotten it
Who
anyway.
was it?
That put the Art Stock, the third base coach in
Art
1950, when he sent the runner home when Snyder singled to center. Ashburn threw him out. Dodgers lost the pennant to the Phillies. I have one question. I have one question. Who's the only Brooklyn Dodger to play the violin at Ebbets Field?
Eddie Bazinski was probably the man you think.
That's it. Eddie
How do you like that?
We do. Let's add four to the amount of mavens that we have. Ron Liebman.
You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing.
Thank you, Ronald. Give us one more to take us out. Give us one more to take us out.
That you might enjoy. Okay, let me tell you one story. You guys will love this. Abe and Sam were the best of friends. Okay, they were friends for almost 70 years. They loved baseball. They played when they were kids. They follow all the teams. Huge baseball fans. So Abe's in the hospital. He's dying. Sam comes to visit him, and he says, "You know, Abe," he said, "you and I, we've been buddies for almost 70 years. You got to do me a favor. When you get up there, you got to somehow let me know if they have baseball up there. Because if they don't have baseball up there, I'm not interested." So Abe passes away, and about 3 weeks later, Sam is sound asleep. 3 o'clock in the morning, he hears Sam. He opens his eyes. He looks all around the room. He says, "Yeah." He says, "It's Abe." He says, "Hi, Abe." He says, "Sam, I got good news for you and bad news." "Well, what's the good news?" He says, "Baseball, you wouldn't believe. The most beautiful manicured diamonds. Fans like crazy. I'm playing third base. I'm batting .395. He says, "That's fabulous." He says, "So what's the bad news?" He says, "You're pitching on Tuesday." Thank you.
That's a good one, Ron.
Very good.
Yeah.
Or you were tired of them already?
Hey, Ron Liebman, one more trivia question, then we're going to let everybody go.
Right.
Okay.
Can you name the last 4 players from the Brooklyn Dodgers who were active in the Major League? Not necessarily with the Dodgers, but the last 4 who were active.
Oh, that's a good one. Then I will say Aspromonte, because he was very young.
Bob Aspromonte is one of them, yes. He was, in fact, the last one.
There you go.
All
That's
right.
the only one I
got
would know.
something right. I'll let you guys handle the rest.
That's the only one I would know, Aspromonte.
All right.
Too. That's the only one.
Pignatano?
That's the answer.
I like saying Pignatano. And by the way, we had Pete Falcone on the other day, who's a nephew of Joe Pignatano's.
Oh, really? Huh.
From Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Both of them. So, Ron, the last 3 guys, who were they?
All right. The other 3 guys were Drysdale, Padres, and John Roseboro.
Huh.
Oh.
Cool.
Padres
I didn't realize Roseboro had come up with the Dodgers when they were in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. In fact, he wore number 44 in Brooklyn. He wore number 44
He played in Sheboygan.
Yeah, he did.
You know,
He wore number 44
that
in
was the
Brooklyn,
Dodgers
and he wore number 8 in L.A. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drysdale finished in 69 and Roseboro in 70, and Aspromonte in 71. So those were the last.
You're very good. This is terrific.
You're all three very good.
Should I wrap this up or what?
What? My page.
Wrap it up, big guy. You're the man. I'm sorry I talk politics, ruined the show. You mad at me?
No. That's not true. That's not true.
All right.
I want to thank all of you. I want to thank my co-host, Ralph Tyko. I want to thank my 2 guests, the 2 Rons. You were fabulous, both of you. And
thank you.
I'd like to have you both on. I'd like to have you both on again However, I would like to have you on separately. It's a little too, crazy with 4 people talking. But I want to thank all of you gentlemen for allowing this Goyish Cup to not only participate, but to be the host.
Did I ever call you a Goyish Cup? Where did you get that?
I taught with all Jews. All my life I taught with Jews. I learned a lot from them. Thank God. All right, listen,
Okay.
I bid you all a fond adieu and good night to all of you. And thank you
so much.
Have great holidays if I don't talk to you, gentlemen.
Happy holidays to all of you.
I hope next time you have me on for that the program is longer, because the last time it was more than an hour and a half. This time it was under an hour.
Well, why don't you come 25 minutes late, Ron, and see how well you do next time. See ya. Let's close her out, Peter.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Hello.
Adios, guys.